What are those differences? Well, the first is, if you look at those big three rebellions that I mentioned, the new elite really have responded to those by doubling down on their existing belief system.
This is Matthew Goodwin, a right-wing intellectual, putting forward his thesis on the new elites. New elites? Yes, middle-class people with a degree, perhaps in the media, but people being woke.
Which is social liberalism, but also increasingly radical progressivism, or what we might call woke politics. Radical progressivism is a distinctive ideological current. I appreciate not everybody in the room will agree with me on that, but I think it is fundamentally different from social liberalism. It is revolutionary.
Goodwin is laying the foundation here to say that anybody who believes in equality and is an anti-bigot is in some way a radical who will stop at nothing to destroy the fabric of our shared culture.
It is radical. It prioritises fixed group identities over individual rights. It is sceptical, if not hostile, towards the objective scientific method. It has really no interest in our shared identity and history. If anything, it wants to deconstruct those things in order to pave the way for this radical progressive utopia.
He makes it sound as if there's a manifesto.
If you look at serious surveys of Britain's population today by groups like More in Common, an independent civil society organisation, and if you look at other surveys that I use, the British Election Study, the British Social Attitude Survey, the percentage of Britain's population that are now radical progressive, not just socially liberal, but radical progressive, is somewhere between 15 and 20%.
What Goodwin fails to acknowledge, or at least omits from this speech, is that what he describes could equally be applied to the right. Radicalised individuals who put their needs above those of the wider society.
Bobby Duffy at King's will say it's about 23%, More in Common will say it's about 15%. But what I'm talking about here is a subgroup within this new elite who believe Britain is institutionally racist, who believe that minority rights have not gone anywhere near far enough, who believe that racism is prevalent. It's constantly present in every interaction in society.
There's too much to go into in this video about how white colonialists justified plundering other countries by claiming the indigenous people were stupid and the legacy of those beliefs. So I'll post another video on that later on. But it's possible as a white man that Goodwin will not have experienced any of what he implies here.
Who think that we cannot move forward as a society unless we revisit historic injustices that happened hundreds of years ago, and who fundamentally view British society through the lens of critical race theory, a very binary, divisive, simplistic worldview where there are simply oppressors who belong to the white majority and victimized minorities, and that we should essentially elevate minority rights over the majority.
This is a disingenuous reading of critical race theory, pushing it to the extreme. Saying that minority rights should be elevated above the majority is just plain silly. Now comes the obvious irony of a white man speaking at an event, given a platform, saying that free speech is in danger from the woke brigade.
And if we need to, we should curtail free speech and free expression in the name of social justice.
Click here for some hate TV.